Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining me. I want to take you on a little road that I will explain 10 skills required for instructional designers in 2022 and beyond. Instructional designers have the task of creating engaging, effective, and efficient digital training programs. Instructional designers must be able to think critically, strategically, and to analyze users' needs and create the best possible experience. To succeed in this role, you must have a balanced understanding regarding the processes involved in teaching and learning, as well as creative thinking abilities with an emphasis on users' experience, and of course, computer-human interactions. As an educator for over 25 years of teaching at all levels in every modality, and someone who has designed various online courses, I am here to tell you about what skills are required as an instructional designer for 2022 and beyond. Let me explore the user's experience design. An effective user design will increase user satisfaction, improve users' ability to use your product, and create an overall experience that users will enjoy. As an instructional designer, you will work closely with various teams to create real experience for users. With the rise of artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality, designers will be able to create more fluid, intuitive, and personalized experiences for users. Therefore, it is critical that the instructional designers have strong design skills. Therefore, let me say that instructional designer for 2022 and beyond will be an expert or have knowledge of all teaching and learning modalities. The instructional designer for 2022 and beyond will need to spend time analyzing data to enhance the experience of the users. Of course, they need to understand how users will interact with content. Therefore, it is important that you think critically about data and come up with conclusions. You will need to be able to identify mistakes in data and make recommendations based on the findings and use the data to optimize, of course, teaching and learning decisions. For example, if you notice that most users are skipping a certain section of a course, you might recommend to the team that they need to look at this to ensure that users are engaged. The reality is that the instructional designer for 2022 and beyond must be able to use data to enhance the learning experience. Of course, the instructional designer is also the architect of the learning process. Now, project management skills. Instructional designers will be responsible for managing various projects. Therefore, you must have strong project management skills. You will need to work directly with program managers and team leads to ensure that your project is completed on time and within budget. To successfully manage a project, you must prioritize your work, set deadlines, communicate with team members, and be organized. You will also be required to help to conduct research in the decision-making process. For example, you may want to know more about the user's needs, and this will require research. As an instructional designer, you will work with many stakeholders, including users and, of course, development teams. Therefore, it's important that you communicate effectively. Many instructional designers think that virtual reality might not be in their way at this point in time. However, virtual reality and augmented reality technologies will be here to stay. Therefore, in 2022 and beyond, virtual reality and augmented reality will gain popularity, and so it will be that the instructional designer must have knowledge. As an instructional designer, you will work with VR and AR design teams to create customized learning experiences for your users. Therefore, if you're going to be an instructional designer for 2022 and beyond, you must know about virtual reality and augmented reality. I touched on this earlier. I talked about communication skills. As an instructional designer, you will also be required to work in a team environment. This means communicating well. It is important that you communicate effectively to all people and, of course, within a frame of respect. Therefore, it is important that you are able to communicate well both in oral form and written form. Now, many individuals have run away from the issue of machine learning, but the instructional designer for 2022 and beyond has no escape. Machine learning is going to be a part of the instructional designer's knowledge base. And of course, with machine learning comes artificial intelligence. As a result, you will have to have knowledge and skills as it relates to machine learning. Of course, you can pay at the back end as it relates to a little coding, not too much. However, you must have knowledge. Which brings us to the next one. Game-based learning. Game-based learning uses game elements in the classroom to enhance teaching and learning outcomes. Therefore, as you think about it, instructional designers again will need to know about this. You will need to work with game designers to create game-based learning environments that will fit the user's needs. With the rise of game-based learning, educators will find that students are more engaged and retain more knowledge. Therefore, as an instructional designer, you must have knowledge of that. While it's not important for an instructional designer to have in-depth knowledge of certain areas, having an overall understanding of how certain subjects are taught is important. For example, there are some subjects that will require consistent simulation and so forth. There are other subjects that are related to reviewing written content and so forth. You have to understand the modality. So I would say it's important for the instructional designer to communicate with the content specialist to see where the best part of the course should be taught. Sometimes decisions have to be made as it relates to the modality of the course. I want to say that my next one is going to be number 9. It talks about detective skills, technology detective skills. As an instructional designer, you must be critical about technology and innovation. You must possess the skills of objectivity and, of course, criticality as it relates to evaluating technology. You must evaluate the technology based on the technology being inclusive and fit for purpose. Too often, technology is introduced, and when we realize it, it is outdated, it's not fit for purpose, it is not scalable, and of course, it is not supporting the latest technology. No, it's important to have those skills. And my final thought, many might disagree with me. Number 10, teaching and learning skills. As a teacher with over 25 years of experience who have worked in various countries, I think an instructional designer should be practicing what they preach. You know, I had a friend who once said to me, I stay in the classroom because I can continue practicing. Instructional designers should be practicing practitioners. And that brings me to the point, the instructional designer must have a strong pedagogical background. I would say that instructional designer must have a balanced approach between pedagogy and technology. And one way of doing so is by understanding teaching and learning theories. These are my thoughts as it relates to instructional designer. And of course, it's important that we are prepared because the instructional designer for 2022 and beyond has to be someone who is strong enough, flexible enough, and has the ability of all the skills that I've mentioned. Thanks for joining me. Please subscribe.